Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to finals day for the first round of the 2020 B&L Karting Series season, being hosted by the fantastic circuit simply known as the home of champions Karting Genk in Belgium. It is finals day, and up very shortly we will have our first salvo of action, courtesy of Senior Rotax, and 15 drivers will compete for the final 6 positions for the pre-final and the final later on this afternoon. We will have another 5 qualification sessions for the remaining categories of Micromax, Minimax, Junior Rotax, DD2 and DD2 Masters. Apologies first of all, we've had a slight technical hitch with our Facebook streaming, but we are live across the globe on the dedicated Camp Company GmbH YouTube channel, all the way through the action. Alex Goldschmidt in the commentary box once again, taking you through the action as it happens. A total of 129 different drivers covering around 14 different nationalities in 6 different Rotax racing powered categories are set to tackle the 1,360 meter circuit over the next few hours. And the end of it all, we will find out who will be our weekend winners and then head to the first weekend of October at the top of the standings. The temperatures are a little bit cooler. It's overcast overhead at the moment. And in terms of the heat that we had over the last 2 days, where Friday was at highs of around about 36 to 38 degrees Celsius, yesterday topping out at around about 29 to 30 degrees, there's a bit of a breeze in the air which will help the drivers a little bit more. But firstly, to everyone watching across the globe, thank you for tuning in, and we hope you are all keeping safe and well amongst these difficult times. So in just a minute and a half's time, we will get the first of 2 sighting and formation lap for the second chance heat, with drivers from 31st to 45th after the intermediate classification, which yesterday was found to be that Mike van Vught, now in Senior Rotax, leads the intermediate classification ahead of Scotland's Lewis Gilbert, Mads Ries from Denmark, Sean Butcher from Great Britain and Storm Brouwer from the Netherlands. So we are about to get things underway here in just 45 seconds time. 8 minutes plus an additional lap are set to go onto the timer on the gantry above the start-finish line. A very action-packed 6 heats yesterday saw the top 30 completed by Arthur Roche from France in the 337. So everyone below that will now have an opportunity. All results are provisionally classified at the end of each session and then will be officially confirmed and ratified following any sporting and technical checks post-session. Local time now, 10:45 Central European summertime. The green flag waves for the first time as the Senior Rotax second chance heat gets underway. Here is your first grid of finals day on Sunday the 2nd of August. So on the front row it will be Maurice Schuring in the 314 from the Netherlands, and alongside will be countryman Jordi van der Eyck in the 390. Then it is Clementine Benoit from Belgium and Sam van Thiel also representing the Netherlands. Sweden Robin Knutsson and Scott Westhovens from the Netherlands rounds out the top 3 rows, ahead of Flint Schuring from the Netherlands, Kian Sang from the United Kingdom, Remco Baan and Yash Ramjankan also both representing the Netherlands. Rounding out the 15-strong order will be Derek Jansen in the 342, Great Britain's Harley Horton in the 325, Bart de Wit from the Netherlands in the 326, Amandine Travadon in the 394 representing France, and back in the seat after a very dramatic incident yesterday early afternoon is Belgium's Hugues van de Candelera in the 393. I had a look at the footage. So good to see Hughes is back with us and racing out on the circuit. So 8 minutes set on the timer, plus an additional lap, and we truly get finals day underway. This is the aperitif before the main course, and then the finals will be the dessert if it was a 3-course meal at a fancy restaurant. So the top 10 will be Maurice Schuring, again it's Van der Eyck, Benoit, Van Til, Knudsen, Westhovens, Flint Schuring, Kian Sang, Remco Ban, and Yash Ramjankan as they now head through into turn 10, into the left-hander at turn 11, before the interesting dynamic of turn 12 that tightens first of all and then expands out onto the main start-finish. Ladies and gentlemen, let battle commence, as these drivers, 9 of which will no longer take part in the rest of the weekend's activities, the top 6 will go through. Into the tram lines for the first time. The Rotax rule returns on Sunday morning, and we are off and away, heading into turn 1. A good start by Maurice Schuring, as round towards the outside. That's Jordi van der Eyck, and then you've got Clémentine Benoit, who's been, as we've got 3 abreast, and they are trying. Oh, now someone has been spat out on the outside of turn number 3. And that looks to be possibly, I'm not too sure, I didn't quite catch the number, but the drivers now making their way onto the main straight, the back straightaway for the first time of asking. And now this is where things are really going to heat up. There's a move up the inside. That is Maurice Schuring on Jordi van der Eyck for the lead. So these two will be battling tooth and nail. Looks like the whole field, apart from the driver at the back of it, now making their way through turn 9, down into turn 10. So at the moment, leading the way is the 390 of Jordi van der Eyck, followed closely by Maurice Schuring in the 314 as they come to complete lap number 1. Just over 7 minutes to go, plus an additional lap, and the lead is by just 0.348 of a second as Maurice Schuring trying to close up, but as Robin Knudsen looks to be in the thick of things and is down into P5, having been passed by Flint Schuring, brother to Maurice. Drake Jansen rounding out the top 6. Then we've got Sem Van Til, Yasharam Jankan, Bart de Wit, Harley Horton and Kian Sang rounding out the top 11 ahead of Scott Westhovens. Hughes van der Candelera has now made up a couple of positions, and it was Remco Ban that has dropped to the back part of the field as there's a little bit of a move up the inside. That could have been maybe Amandine Travadon up the inside of Hughes van der Candelera through turn 7 into turn 8. But now Van der Eyck gets a little bit of daylight at the end of the tunnel as Clémentine Benoit and Flint Schuring trying to close on Maurice Schuring for P2, as up the inside of the 326 of Bart de Wit is trying to go Harley Horton. As they now come across the line, timer ticking away quite nicely here, just over 2 minutes completed, as up the inside goes Robin Knudsen on Flint Schuring through into turn 2. And in the meantime, I think that is... Oh, we've had 2 go off out of the exit of a turn 3, and someone's caught and kicked up the dust. And one of them is the 366. That is Yash Ramjankan in the walls, unfortunately, there. So the Dutch driver heads down to the back part of the field and will be behind Remco Ban. But is Ramjankan continuing? That is the case. So as you can now see, the battles are now starting to spread out a little bit. Second and third being contested by Maurice Schuring and Clémentine Benoit. Robin Knudsen is trying to battle with Flint Schuring for 4th position, as they now will come round to complete another lap number 3, as on the back bumper of Maurice Schuring is Clémentine Benoit from Belgium, as looks towards the outside, looks over the right shoulder into turns 1 and 2. Knudsen not trying to make a big dive up the inside of Flint Schuring there into turn 3. So Drake Jansen also looks to be the other driver that might have been involved in that particular skirmish off of turn 3 just a lap ago. But a bit of a big gap here for Jordi van der Eyck, who now has over 0.8 of a second advantage over Maurice Schuring. Clémentine Benoit is rounding out to the top 3, and closely following them now is both Flint Schuring and Sweden's Robin Knudsen from KR Sport. Harley Horton looks to be closing up in the other KR Sport kart in the 325, representing Great Britain. Kian Sang up to P7. So I've seen these 2 Brits in competition before, and both of them are very, very quick on their best days, as now it looks like Benoit is the meat in a Schuring sandwich, with Morris up in front. As Flint tries to go up the inside of the Belgian, and he does. That's a great clean overtake. Knutson goes through towards the outside, and round the outside, that's a brilliant move by Harley Horton. Round the outside of Clémentine Benoit going into turn number 4. Nicely done there, young man. 3 minutes and 57 to go on the clock, plus an additional lap, and it's all kicking off at the back end of the field. Looks like Yashram Jankan has made up a position or two in the meantime, but wow, this is really getting good up here. And now, Jordi van der Eyck has a lead of nearly a second ahead of Maurice Schuring, Clémentine Benoit. Then we have Sweden's very own Robin Knutsson being closely followed by Harley Horton. That's the top 5, 3 minutes and 21 seconds plus an additional lap. More changes down at the back end of the field. So Van der Eyck has a lead of 1.154 seconds as now up the inside. Oh, that's a great move by Harley Horton. Up the inside of Robin Knutsson to now take what is 4th position on the road. But Flint Schuring now up into P3. Knutsson up into 4th. Harley Horton in 5th. So Clémentine Benoit is now in the drop zone. Down into 7th position goes the Belgian. So at the moment, the top 6, if it was to finish right now, as we have 2 minutes and 51 plus an additional lap left to go, would be Van der Eyck, Schuring, Maurice Schuring, Flint Schuring, and that's another. Oh, that's a bit of a side-by-side dice there, and that is Hughes van der Candelera trying to go around the inside of Scott Westholvens as Travadon, I think, has just got past in the process, past the GKS Lemons Power driver. If anyone saw the footage of the heat yesterday, Van der Candelera ended up being hit from behind and was lifted into the air. The cart went spinning 180 degrees the other way, and he dropped down, and luckily enough, the seat hits him square in the small of the backers. Up the inside, there's another change for position, and that was for 5th place. So Kian Sang looks to be one of the Schurings that has dropped down, so I think that could be Flint Schuring that is now in 6th position. But Clémentine Benoit still running strong, trying to catch up with those in front, but loses a little bit of time there going down the main straightaway. So just under 1 minute and 50 seconds plus an additional lap remaining here in this Senior Rotax second chance heat, and it is 3 abreast. Oh my goodness. Hughes van der Candelera was around to the outside, up the inside. Rem Corban tries to go up the inside of the 393 from Belgium through turn 10 and can't get past. So we should have around about 3 more laps still to go, as Jordi van der Eyck has a lead of now 0.85 of a second, and Harley Horton now up into 2nd place. Robin Knutsson now gets past Maurice Schuring for P3, and up the back bumper of the 314 from the Netherlands is now Great Britain's Kian Sang. Flint Schuring rounding out the top 6, but still has a bit of daylight between himself and Clémentine Benoit, as Schuring has a bit of a counter-offensive, goes past Kian Sang for position, and Knutsson now rounds out the top 3, having got past Maurice Schuring a couple of corners ago. So we are just 51 seconds plus an additional lap remaining of this second chance Senior Rotax heats. Obviously, these results will be provisionally classified before any sporting and technical checks. So 37 seconds, well, make that 32 seconds to go as Van der Eyck closes on a victory, as now that is going to be, I think that's Harley Horton. No, that's not Harley Horton. Kian Sang now down into 6th position as the brothers Schuring have got past. Clémentine Benoit fancies a chance at a top 6, and that will give him the opportunity to move up into the pre-final and the final a little bit later on. The weekend result for the Senior Rotax division will be decided on the 2 races today, not the second chance heat, not the heats from yesterday. The heats will count towards the championship overall, but not on the weekend result. Jordi van der Eyck is being closed in on as, right now, there is a bit of a dynamic shift here because Clémentine Benoit, I think, is trying. Oh my goodness me! That was close between Zem Van Til and Clémentine Benoit going through the exit of turn 10. So Van Til was had nowhere to go but the outside, as the gap now between Harley Horton and Jordi van der Eyck is now 0.4 of a second. Final lap as the brothers Schuring are side by side. Kian Sang goes up the inside of one of them through turn 3, tries to make it through on turn 4. Oh, that was nearly interlocking wheels, but Kian Sang keeps it pinned like his life depended on it through turns 3 to 5, and still keeps on the back bumper of Flint Schuring. So Jordi van der Eyck is leading from Harley Horton. They're now going to come through into turn 9 for the last time in this senior road. Oh no, there's drama. Harley Horton has just pulled to the side of the track, and there is a massive problem. Horton's weekend unfortunately over on the final lap of the race. But round the final corner, the checkered flag will wave for the Netherlands as Jordi van der Eyck takes the win in the second chance heat. Robin Knutsson from Sweden in second. And then it's the 3:14 of Morris Schuring that will take P3 ahead of brother Flint Schuring. Kian Sang makes it into the top 5 ahead of Sam Van Til, with Scott Westhovens nigh on the bubble of being there. But Jordi van der Eyck, provisionally speaking, takes the win by 1.984 seconds ahead of Sweden's Robin Knutsson from KR Sport. Morris Schuring and Flint Schuring both with JJ Racing representing the Netherlands in the 3:14 and the 3:23 make it through to the top 4 provisionally. Kian Sang, who started down in 8th position, would finish in 5th provisionally. Sam Van Til from the Netherlands secures, provisionally speaking, the last of the 6 positions to head to the pre-final and the final later on this afternoon. The drivers at the moment, Drek Jansen retired on lap 8. Lap 9 was Harley Horton, and the rest of the field was covered through Scott Westhovens, Clémentine Benoit, Hughes van der Candelera, who fought back to 9th, Amandine Travadon from France, Bart de Wit, Remco Baan, and Yash Ramjankan. That concludes the second chance heat here at the home of champions.